believe in the transformative power of dreams. I'm Madeline, and I'm so excited to have you with us today. Here at American Family Insurance, we believe communities are stronger and the future is brighter when people are actively pursuing their dreams. That's why we created DreamBank, an inspirational community destination and digital experience dedicated to dreamers everywhere. From our daily event series to immersive signature programs, there's something for every dreamer. Our always free offerings are designed to help you celebrate the dream journey, overcome obstacles, and stay motivated. Now, I'd like to introduce you to today's speaker. Andrea Barr is an ICF leadership and career coach. She has supported hundreds of professionals with navigating career transitions from new grads to executive entrepreneurs. Andrea specializes in helping parents lead their careers and lives with strategy, intention, and freedom through her one-on-one coaching, events, and her top 5% global podcast, All Figured Out. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Maddie. When I heard of this opportunity to present with you all today and share a topic that I'm so incredibly passionate about, it was such a yes when I learned about the work that American Family Insurance is doing and the work here at DreamBank. I think it's incredible. So today is all about dreaming, and I would say dreaming with action. So thank you, Maddie, for the intro. I'm not going to add too much more onto that because I want to dive right into the exercise today. But I do work with a lot of parents, but I have worked with everybody under the sun. Like Maddie said, I've worked with new grads, I've worked with executives, I've supported people who are in their retirement years and they're transitioning out of work. And the one thing that I do with every single one of my clients, no matter who they are, where they're at, the one thing that all of us have the ability to do is dream and dream about what our ideal day and our ideal life can look like. And I know it's cliche and I know we hear it all the time, but it really is so important to first take stock of what do you really want and just do that without any sort of worries about what is coming to mind or if it's realistic or not. Because the one thing that I want you to take away from today is that all of your dreams will just give you information. They give you information into what's important to you, what you really want, what you're great at, and you can use that information to make really actionable, tangible steps to lead and live your life in a way that when you're 95 years old and you're looking back on your 95 years, you're like, yes, that was an incredible life. And so we are going to get into this today. So this is a tool that I'm going to be taking you through. It's a bit of a framework. It's a really simple one, and it's something that I actually do probably quarterly. And I try to encourage my clients to do this as frequently as possible. This is an exercise and a framework that I'm going to give you a template to follow. So you can actually, Maddie's going to drop it in the chat box. You can open it up now, and I can also tell you when to actually open it up a bit later on. We'll do a bit of, visioning exercises first. But this is a template that you can come back to. You can enroll friends, family, send it to your parents, send it to your best friend, whoever you want. This is, my gift to you. And I really encourage you to do this exercise whenever you feeling like something's just a little bit sticky. You know that feeling where you're like, something is just not quite working. It might be in a really big way, or it might just be in a small way. Maybe you love the work that you do, you love your job, but just the way in which your days, your weeks, your months, your quarters, and your years are going, there's just like something missing. And so this is an exercise to help you reframe, reground what your days, your weeks, your months, and your quarters are going to look like. Now, we only have 26 minutes left, so we're not going to go through your entire 365 days over the course of the next year. But what we are going to do is we're going to look at your ideal day and your ideal work day and your ideal non-work day. And you're going to be walking away from today with really having a couple actionable steps to get to the place where you can say, yes, I'm living my ideal day. So today we're going to be first talking about and getting you to do an exercise to envision your ideal day. Like I said, it's so important to just really think about what's the blue sky, what's the big dream. Oh, there's no access to this Google Doc. Okay, so you should be able to, let's sort that out now before we get into this here. So hopefully you should be able to make a copy of it. And you know what? It is all good. Maddie, you just want to make sure that can you still see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Okay. So we will We will pivot. We will send you a PDF version and we will make sure that you have access. I'm not entirely sure why that's happening, but it's okay because I'm going to walk you through the exercise anyways. This is just kind of a nice bonus. So we'll send it to you afterwards. If anything, the old pen and paper can actually be a nice way to just, not be online. So we can be present here on the call and then you can have this to use afterwards if you want to try it again. So getting back to today, what we're going to cover over the next 25 minutes is you're going to first envision your ideal day. Then we're going to talk about how to make space for your ideal day. So getting those realistic thoughts, really thinking about like what is actually possible in your day, starting to bring back in, there's the ideal vision, and then there's the realistic nature of life, whether you're a parent, a caregiver, you just have a lot of stuff going on in your life. We bring that back in. And then I'm going to help you kind of build your ideal day. So how do you really construct it? And then we are going to talk about your next 3 steps. And I'm going to use the chat box to get people to throw in what are some action items you're going to take. And I want you to feel like you're going to be held accountable to this. And then we'll have a quick Q&A period. We'll probably go a couple minutes over and I'll stay on. And if anybody has questions, then I'd be happy to answer. So I first want to just say this. I want you to check your shoulds. Should is a really funny word. And if you've ever done, therapy or you've ever had coaching before, you've probably heard that should is just such a buzzkill. It is a dream killer. The word should, when it creeps up into our vocabulary, it's not a bad thing. Don't beat yourself up over it. But what you should really do is use that again as information. So the word should, when we see that creeping up in our minds, that's when we can take a pause and say, what's coming up here? So the way should is something that comes up in kind of the rational part of our brain. So there's our dreaming part of our brain, and then there's that rational part of our brain. And the rational part of our brain says, well, sometimes you just got to do stuff that you don't want to do. And what I want to really have you think about today is what is coming up for you when I say the word should? And when you're thinking about when we start to bring in the realistic part of your life circumstances, what are the shoulds that are really coming up? And the shoulds that have that energy around them that are kind of like, yeah, I should do that. Yeah, I should go for a run. Well, that's an example of something that doesn't sound like something you really want to do. It's something you just think that you should do. And so, how can we turn the shoulds into choices? I am choosing to move my body, and I'm choosing to move my body by going to Zumba because I really don't like running, but I really, really love Zumba. And so I'd love for you to just think about that as we go through today and really think about, beyond this day, what are the shoulds that are coming up in your life? So I'm gonna give you just a quick little visioning exercise. So there are some great resources online if you want to. You can type in things like ideal day. You can type in future self visualization. So I'm going to take you through a really quick visualization exercise just now. And what I'm going to have you do is we're going to start with your ideal work day, and then we will do your ideal work day, non-work day. Now I want to make sure that you know that wherever you are at in your life journey, you are supported here. And so if work for you is not, going to an office or not traditional paid work, maybe you are a caregiver, maybe you are, you work inside the home. So whatever work looks like to you, we're kind of just like, we're talking about the stuff that you're doing, perhaps not in your like complete leisure time. Okay, so if it feels comfortable to you, you can kind of lower your eyes, get really comfy in your chair, ground your feet on the ground, or if you're like me, you can put your feet up and sit cross-legged and just, rest your body for a minute here. And I want you to just vision your ideal work day. And I want to start from the very beginning of your day. What time are you waking up? When you get out of bed, what is the first thing that you do? And when you're getting ready, what kind of clothes are you putting on? How are you getting ready for your day? Is it quick? Is it a long process? Are you wearing a uniform? Are you not? What makes you feel your best? And again, this is your ideal day. Now, when we get into breakfast or whatever meal you're having first, what is it you're eating? How is it are you eating? How are you eating? Are you sitting? Are you savoring? Is it something on the go? And when you get into your workday, this beautiful, ideal workday, and you're doing work that really, really lights you up, what kind of work are you doing? Some questions here might be, are you meeting with other people? Are you doing solo work? Are you collaborating a lot? Are you on projects? Is there a buzz and an energy? Are you doing slow, thoughtful work? What's the type of work that really lights you up and you're kind of just losing time, not even realizing the time is going by? When you come home from work, or whether you're in the home already, you're finishing your day, what is the little ritual that you do at the end of your ideal work day? What's a little ritual that you do to close things out? And as you put your head on the pillow, I want you to think about how it felt to go through that ideal work day, and what was it like? What was the nature of what that day was like? So I'd love for you to, this is the end of the day. And now I want you to just, if you have a pen and paper, just write down a couple bullet points. How did it feel? You can use all five senses. If you're someone who really likes to get granular, you can write out what you saw. Give you about a minute right here to just write that down. And when you're finishing that, I want you to finish this sentence. I am somebody who. Okay. Now I'd like to go to your ideal non-work day. So this is a day where you don't really have a lot of these big, work related, quote unquote, work related obligations. And we're going to do the same thing. So you're going to wake up. And how are you waking up? Are you waking up with an alarm? What's the first thing you do when your feet hit the ground? What does your breakfast look like? Who are you surrounded by? What are the activities that you're doing in the morning that really light you up and really set you up for a beautiful day? As you move to the middle of the day, what is it that you're doing? What activities, kinds of, maybe chores, adventures? Who are the people you're surrounding yourself with? Blank slate, your ideal non-work day. And as you're finishing the day, you've had three beautiful meals, your favorite meals in all the world, and your head hits the pillow. And you really think about what that day was like. I'm going to ask you now, how did that feel? Where did you feel it in your body? What parts of you were really lighting up? What is it about that day that really felt ideal? And one more time, I'd love for you to answer, I am somebody who. And so as we kind of come back to the present, I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And if you are so brave, I'd love for you to write in the chat box, I am somebody who finished that sentence. Declare it to the world. In your ideal day, whether it's your work day, your non-work day, I am somebody who. Who are you? Hello, New Jersey. Hello, Michigan. Okay. Oh, I am somebody who moves with intention and care. I am somebody who loves to be free. I am somebody who enjoys life. I am somebody who shows up for myself. Those are so, so beautiful. I am someone that will accomplish what I set out to do, who enjoys living in the moment, who receives by giving, somebody who loves the beach. Love that one. Somebody who feels accomplished when I get my to-do list done. I'm somebody who loves to honor my body, mind, and movement. Oh my goodness. Oh, by movement. I'm somebody who brings value to others, including myself. These are incredible. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. So picture this. Picture yourself. Now I want you to really, you've declared who you are. So you've declared who you are, not in this ideal state, not in this dreamland, but really like this is, you are already that person because nobody can take away what you value. And so I want you to really, I want you to write that down. I think those are some incredibly beautiful, beautiful, beautiful statements. And so I want you to picture really living that out, living your truest self, living your values in your life. Now I know what you're going to do. You're going to say, all of a sudden, now we're back in the present, and you're going to say, oh, but. And we're going to start to put the limiting beliefs on ourselves as to why we can't necessarily bring value to yourself or others, why you can't honor your mind and your body by movement because, oh, I have to do this, oh, I have to do this, oh, I have to do this. And I'm going to tell you, it's if you look at it kind of like a game, like puzzle pieces, moving the puzzle pieces around, fitting them where they can really fit properly. You know, that feeling of putting a puzzle piece in and it's just so satisfying. You might take it from your sibling because you want to be the last one to put the puzzle piece in. That's what we're doing here today. We're moving the puzzle pieces around. And I want to give you the permission to do this often. So I'm a mom of two. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So our life is a little bit wild. It's chaotic. But it's so much fun but things are moving constantly. And so the reason why I actually do this exercise so often is because the 2-year-old goes from being 0 to 1, 1 to 2 is walking, somebody's in daycare, somebody's in preschool. Like things are just changing all the time. And so it's really important to remember that the puzzle pieces are movable and that regardless of the puzzle pieces and your context and your situation, you are your values. And so I'm continuing to say I'm somebody who brings value to others, including myself. That is you. You will always have that. And so it's really harnessing that I am somebody who to really build the building blocks of your ideal life. So this is what I'm so sorry again for the I'm glad the PDF is working now. So this is what the ideal schedule template looks like. So this is a whole worksheet. It's multiple pages. It's a really big, long exercise that you can you can part and parcel. You can decide which parts you want to do. But we're going to really go into, this is the exercise we've started doing already. And what it is you're going to go through and you're going to be asking yourself some questions. And then at the very end of the template, what you can actually do is start to, if you're the analytical brain, there probably about 50% of you are, you can actually go into the template and you can start filling out what your actual ideal day looks like. So there's some scheduled templates for days, weeks, months, quarters, and years. You can actually start to plunk out what might an ideal year look like? What would happen in the quarters? Are we getting to go on vacation? Are we seeing family? Are we going to engage in the arts or go to a sporting event? Things like that. Okay, so we're going to move on. And yes, the PDF and the document from the link will be sent to you after. But Maddie has very kindly, if you scroll up in the chat, she's added in a PDF version of it as well. But this will be something. This is a working document that you can actually come back to. So we'll make sure that you have that link afterwards. So the categories. So as you were thinking about your ideal day, what are the different categories of time that you could start to see? So some of these examples might be work. So you might have had some work time in there. Could be family time. Could be time with your community, whether that's, a group that you participate in, your faith. It could be hobbies and interests. How would you kind of categorize your life? One of those buckets might be well-being. So I want you to just take about 30 seconds right here. And I want you to write down probably 3 to 5 categories. It doesn't really matter, but keep it small. Keep it, under 5 if you can. So take a couple seconds here and you're going to write out what are the different how would you categorize the different parts of your life? Okay. So keep that with you and we're going to be using that in just a second. So now we've envisioned our ideal life. We kind of see what it could look like. We understand who we are, what our, true values are within this big, beautiful, dreamy ideal life. We understand kind of how the categorization of the different buckets of our life are. And now what we're going to do is we're going to think about how can we actually make space for this ideal day? So it's all well and good to have these dreamy visions, but how can we actually make space for these big, beautiful, ideal days, weeks, months, years? And so I have categorized it into kind of two different ways in which we need to make space. Number one is emotional space. So, right now, what do you need to let go of emotionally or in your mind or in your body? What do you need to let go of in order to get to this ideal day? In order to get to this person who I am somebody who. Can somebody said in the chat control? That's a really big one for sure. Thank you for sharing that. And then physically, unfortunately, we only have 24 hours in a day. It's a lot of hours, but some of those we have to use to sleep, eat, these nourishment things that we have to do to survive. And so, in terms of physical space, when you're really thinking about your ideal day and you're thinking about what your days currently look like, and we're kind of contrasting the two, what is the physical space that might need to be created in order to make this happen? And now what I want you to do is really think as I'm saying this, use your notebook and really think about what are some of the things that based on your ideal day versus where you are currently and what your day normally looks like, what are you hoping to add into your day? And in order to add something into your day, what are you willing to subtract? So you can even have two columns, plus, minus. What do you want to add into your current day to get closer to your ideal day? And what do you want to subtract? And this chat box is so fun. So if you want to add that in there and let us know, sometimes it's kind of nice for other people to hear as well. Somebody says I need to order organization and need to eliminate clutter to get to my ideal day. Oh, I feel that. I feel that. Somebody said I rearranged my living room just yesterday to support me being an active person, allowing me to move my body today with minimal resistance. That is such a perfect example of physically creating space so that you can make the task easier. We're going to get into that actually when we talk about habits in a few minutes. We're going to talk about the habit formations. A decluttered office. Whew, that is good. Okay, so we're going to keep going. And now we're going to talk about building your ideal day. So I have a little line drawing here of buildings because what I want you to remember is that you've got the pen in your hand, whether you literally have the pen or the metaphorical pen, and you're the one who's going to get to draw out this ideal day. You're the one who gets to create it because you are the one who's going to be choosing. We're going to leave the word should behind. No more shoulds here. And we're going to be bringing in the pen to choose our own life. So what I want you to do is we're going to lay the foundation. Step one, I want you to write down what is one quick win. Really important, quick win. What is something that you can do today that is going to bring you closer to your ideal days? So the person in the chat box, I will maintain anonymity, who said, I rearranged my living room just yesterday to support me being an active person. That is such a great example of a quick win. So write down your quick win, drop it in the chat box. I want to hear what it is. Okay, once you've done that, oh, we have a couple. Oh, the chat box is popping off. Positive affirmations. Quick win. Beautiful. Walk when I get home. Love it. Clean my desk. Yes. Good one. Intentionally enjoying my morning coffee. You enjoy that coffee. Gratitude journal for 3 things. These are beautiful. Quick win. Somebody didn't turn on the TV today. Block websites on phone. Love it. Those are perfect examples. Couldn't have come up with better examples myself. Perfect examples of quick wins. So take that energy, take that quick win, make sure you do it today. You've told everybody here, you've told probably almost 100 people who are watching, 50 who are live. Make sure you get that quick win done. Now, step 2. This is a hard one. I will say this is a hard one, but I know you can do it. Make a list of the people and the resources that you need to enroll to make this happen. Now, I would love to tell you that you can do this in isolation. And there's a lot of things that you can do in isolation. However, we live in a world where we rely on other people, people rely on us. There's resources that are required, to go buy the organizational supplies, that's financial resources. And so I want you to start making a list. And this is something you can continue after this webinar here. But who are the list of the people who you need to enroll? Even if it's just a conversation, even if it's just to inform, not to ask, but to inform or to update Or maybe it is you need to enroll somebody because maybe you're in a partnership and you have a child and you need your partner to, watch your child while you work out for 30 minutes in the morning. Like start to think of, who are some of the people that you would really enjoy enrolling in this process? And maybe it's a therapist. Maybe it's somebody who can help you from a mental health perspective. And then the resources. So, are there physical things that you need, financial resources, time resources? What is it that you need? An example of this might be at work. This is a funny example, but like say you're in a job where you really need to work in Excel a lot and it really, really drains you. You love your job, you just don't love the part of your job where you have to be in Excel. And you're realizing, okay, if I was better at Excel, my day would actually go so much better because I wouldn't be, fluffing around in Excel trying to Google some of the different ways in which I can, do this, I don't even know, VLOOKUP or whatever it is in Excel, right? So a resource that you might need is actually to enroll, number one, enroll your manager into allowing the resources to go and get some really good Excel training so that you can make that one part of your day just go so much better. Somebody in the chat is saying, I need an assistant to help me declutter my house and complete small tasks. Beautiful. So that would be an example of a person that you might need to enroll, and the resources might be maybe it's a barter, maybe it is paying the person, whatever that looks like. That's a great example. And then step number 3 here is what are the next 3 small steps? So, what I know to be true, having worked with hundreds of people doing this process, is that it can feel like your ideal day and where you are currently, it can feel like a rubber band that is like really, really, really tight and there's a lot of tension there. And I totally get that. And that can feel really frustrating. But what I also know is that we can relieve that tension by creating smaller chunks and creating smaller action steps. And what that does is it allows our brain to also do little check marks, which just feels fun, right? And so, what I want you to do is not think about boiling the ocean. I don't want you to think about what's the 100th step to get to your ideal day, but what are your next 3 steps? So, take a second here as I ask you that. What are your next 3 small steps? And write those down. And of course, all of this you can continue to mull over for the rest of the day. This is a quick exercise here, but again, you will get that PDF, you will get that template that you can go and do this over and over again and continue to mull over today and this week or this year. Okay, let's talk about habits. So I'd be remiss if I did not talk about how we can actually crack the code on habits. So, what we do know is that our days are made up of a lot of habitual things. I would say personally, I'm not somebody who is wildly scheduled, regimented, has really crazy routines or habits. But what I do know is that I do actually have habits, although I wouldn't consider myself a structured person. And a lot of people I work with might either fall under the structured or unstructured side. We do have a series of habits, and we are what we do consistently. James Clear wrote Atomic Habits. Would love to hear if anybody has read that book. It's an awesome, awesome book. It's a really good audiobook. And he says, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And so, what are the systems that you can put in place to make this all easier? And what I also want to talk about here that's really important is if you're adding things into your life. So, we talked about the adding and subtracting. If you're adding something into your life, I'm going to be straight up with you. You've got to find a way to make it enjoyable. So if it is sitting at that Excel spreadsheet that you know you actually do have to do, it's part of your job, could you have a nice hot cup of coffee while you do it? Make the thing easy to do. So the example of getting the Excel training to make your day go a bit smoother, that might make the task of working on that Excel document easier and reduce the steps that it might take. So great, great, great example was the assistant in the home. So automation and delegation. Delegation is a beautiful thing. We could do a whole other webinar on that. But how can you reduce the steps that it takes to do the thing? And if you're subtracting something, ensure you know your why for why subtracting the thing. Sometimes there can feel like a bit of a mourning process when we're, when we're taking something out of our life. Like maybe it is, a pottery class that you did once enjoy, but you're taking it out. And again, it's not I should stop doing pottery. It is I'm choosing to stop doing pottery because I'm making the choice to bring something else into my life. And you might not even know what that something else is, but you know that pottery is no longer an activity you want to be doing. And communicate with your board of directors. So, what I mean by this is the people in your life who are really important, influential, rely on you, you rely on them. How can you communicate with these people to ensure that they are enrolled in these habits? So, again, doing things in isolation, there's some things we can kind of do in isolation, but it's even more effective if we can enroll the people who we live with, the people who are really influential in our life, to be part of this new change and this new shift. And I also want you to watch out for the tendency to gap fill. So once we've subtracted something from our life, there is such a tendency, especially as high achievers, which I know is everybody in this room because you've decided to attend this meeting, this webinar, is when you subtract something, resist the urge to just fill it with something else right away without being super intentional about it or without really tying it to your ideal day. So we are coming to the end. This is just an example of what that ideal schedule looks like that you can start to fill out. It's nothing crazy, but it's really nice to just have time and space to do that. So that was a quick 30 minutes. It blew by. I am so appreciative for all of your energy and enthusiasm in the chat. I wish I could read it. I'm going to go back and read it actually right now because you were all fantastic. I feel so inspired by the dreamy life that all of you are planning to step into. So I want to thank you so much for joining. My name is Andrea Barr. We have just crafted your ideal day. You can find me on Instagram at Andrea at all figured out Andrea, andreabarr.com. And the podcast that I host is All Figured Out, and it is targeted at parents who are just trying to make work and life work better together. So thank you, DreamBank. Thank you, Maddie, for having me. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I know I took a bunch of notes, and I think I'm going to do it tonight with my husband and see what like our ideal like weekend day is, and see how we can kind of soak that in through our weekend and maybe even our Monday through Friday. So thank you so much for that, and thank you everyone for tuning in. I didn't see any questions come into the chat, but as always, I loved learning alongside of all of you. Until next time, friends. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.